Hi everyone, welcome to Kats Creations live on a Friday night, where tonight I'm going to teach you how to make an Americana patriotic wreath using this, what is it? I'm trying to remember the dimensions off the top of my head. 8 by 10 sign. This is from Personalize It by Pam. We're going to use, as I go through everything, I will let you know where it is or where I got it from. Measurements and everything. The first thing that we need to do, however, a little bit of housekeeping. So if you're new here, let us know. We'd like to welcome you, and also let us know where you're from. Sometimes conversations happen in the midst of the live to where you can meet fellow crafters that you may not have been aware of that live fairly close to you. That's how I've met a lot of people in my neighborhood, is based off of Facebook Lives. Also, if you like this design, want to replicate it once you get everything in, just click the share button at the bottom. It will share it to your Facebook page, where it's much easier to find than trying to look for it in all of my videos. This will probably be the last patriotic design that I will do this year. And then we're going to move on to some fun summer designs. And then we're going to start, believe it or not, well, we have like June. We'll finish up all the summer stuff and back to school in June. And then July is all going to be about Christmas in July. So we're going to get an early start on that. Because there are a lot of people, believe it or not, that host their family gatherings in the middle of the summer. Maybe because it's less expensive than trying to get together during the holidays. But for whatever reason, we're going to go ahead and kickstart off that in July. So 14-inch Dollar Tree wreath frame. We're going to go ahead and finish up the last of 6 sections. All the other 5 are done exactly the same way. I'm going to take my red pipe cleaner. I am going to go right in between the welds that separate the section. I'm going to wire together the 2 innermost rings. Oops. Trying to keep them as even as possible, because then that means that you'll have the same amount on either side when you go to add your ribbon or your deco mesh. And then we're going to go ahead and take our beige pipe cleaner. I'm just color coordinating this red, tan, and blue, because that's the difference between Americana. Is you kind of go with more burgundies, more navies, and tan over the standard red, white, and blue. So with the tan, we're using this center one and our guide on the end, and just find a midway point. Basically, they're about 3 to 3.5 inches apart. Some are a little bit closer together than others. And then we're going to do the same on the opposite side. This gives you 6 on the inside, 12 on the outside, for a grand total of 18. Now, with this sign being fairly large, adding a bow to that's going to really eat up all of our real estate in the center. So we're going to be removing the center 6 as we go along, adding our deco mesh. And our deco mesh is twofold. It's going to be comprised of a solid natural jute burlap, which is an imitation burlap. And then we're also pairing that with a, this is called a red and natural, same thing, jute burlap. So we're going to alternate these all the way around the entire design. They're cut to 25-inch pieces. We're going to do the ruffle method, because if we try to do any other method, number one, our sign is going to compress everything, and then adding a bow, we would have to fight the design underneath. Your base method, if you tried to do anything else like a cruffle or a poof, it would just be way too big and way too fluffy. Now I prefer to start on the inside. I do my finished edges towards the middle, towards the outside, with the cut edges towards the side. And with a jute burlap mesh, you need to cut that with a rotary cutter. It cannot be cut with a wood burning tool because of the natural fibers in it, the jute, and that just smokes rather than cuts. Okay. So we're going to alternate these all the way around. We're going to be alternating the inside and then alternating the outside. So you're going to, every now and then you'll see 2 that look like You know, they were meant to be broken up, but as you'll see, it's kind of an impossibility to give it a true separation unless you're doing 3 different color mesh. So just like that, 2 twists on my pipe cleaner. I already moved the inside one. So now we can go ahead and just keep adding. Now we'll add beige to this one. And this will give it a very rustic country look, I guess. How are you guys doing? I think most of the country is starting to get summer-like weather, heat up. I think we're here in California. I think we have officially said goodbye to the cold weather. We're in the
mid-80s now.
Yeah, I can't see. I think today or tomorrow is supposed to be like in the 90s, possible 100s, which I'm not looking forward to. So because we started with the natural on the inside and we're going to the next on the inside, we're gonna pick that up and alternate that. So we're gonna go with our red.
Hi Gail, hi Gal's just joining.
Gail is home from her cruise. We could use a vacation. We've just been running. This has been a very busy week. Very busy. Besides lives, we've had lives Mondays, Tuesday. Wednesday was break.
I'd like to have a 25-year vacation.
Right? Thursday was a live. Friday's the live. Saturday's free. But it's funny how everybody would just wants to get together and do things on the one and only day off you might have. But better to be busy than not. Okay. So now I'm having to watch my outside colors. So I have the beige here. So now I'm going to pick up red here. So it seems like the red are going on top of each other, but that's not the case. They're just alternating to the outside. The inside ones are basically just creating a base for our sign so it doesn't fall through. That's really it. Let me go up and around. I'm gonna lay this one right on the top. 2 twists, and then we're just gonna fan that out. Basically, the ones in the middle are geared to create a filler between the 2 outside ones. And again, also to help hold the inside one to create, what do you call it? A base for your sign so nothing falls inside. Okay.
Susan B said she loves the sign.
This is where I had to like go into my Patriotic bin and look for some stuff that I had from last year. I really need to get into Shinoda so I can see what they have for their signs.
Wow, Tracy said it was close to 80 degrees up in Manchester, Connecticut. That's warm for up there.
Yeah, it is.
Especially for May.
Right? People are like, no, not yet. I have a preference to put the red on top over the natural. It just, because it still has the natural tone in it. So sometimes I'll pick and choose what I want. And now we're back to natural on the inside. I've been outside gardening today, trying to get all the plants that we have situated for the summer when it's going to get super, super hot. Getting everything pruned back and fertilized, because once our summer heat hits here and nobody goes outside, it except in the cool of the morning and late evenings.
Linda says it's been in the 60s here in North Carolina / Washington area.
Oh.
Rita said 82 in Ohio, so that's pretty warm for Ohio.
Right?
Charmaine says it's been raining and cool in Virginia.
I would take that. We have not. California, mark my words, California is going to get hit hard this summer. I think we're going to see tons of fires. What didn't burn down the last handful of years will burn down this year.
Yeah, it seems like every year we get less rain and more heat.
And more fires. So we shall see how it will all play out. And then I watch all these places getting tons of water and I'm like,
All the lakes are drying up.
yeah, I'm like, we need a handful of that water here. Places are getting it where they don't need it. But I don't know. Okay, let's push this one. I think on this one, I think when I laid it in, I laid too much at the top because it's really laying way over and there's not enough at the bottom. So I just resituated that. Getting everything ready for the tails that'll go around the outside. And then this, just getting situated there. Okay, back to natural. It's been a long time since I've done this two different color mesh. Most of the time I've just been doing one. Probably because if you do a two-tone mesh like this, you're gonna have leftovers. So in this case, I actually used my leftover mesh to finish this design. So I had about 2/3 a roll of the natural and then the red with the natural. So we just use that to use those up.
Wow, Susan B said she's up in Northwest Indiana. It was 93 degrees.
See, that's just not
65% humidity.
That's just not normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tracy, yes, you are correct. Mother Nature is mad at us for what we've done to this planet.
Mother Nature's mad at California for what California's done.
Yeah.
Rain's supposed to be a blessing, so if rain is withheld, it's like, is it any wonder? Our governor's focusing on all the wrong things, and every day we wonder, why are we still here? Why haven't we moved yet? Now we're going back to the inside. Again, still toggling the colors. And then we're also removing these. It's just an extra step. You could wait, go all the way around, and then at some point you're gonna go, oh, I needed to remove all my inside ones. And then we're gonna pull this back up to the top because this is an outside one. Just like so.
It's been very hot here in San Antonio. Well, that's San Antonio, Texas.
Is that normal though for you guys? I wonder. And now we're back to red.
Yeah, this is about the month where they start getting humidity all
everywhere.
from Texas on east. Yep.
Well, we couldn't have it not be summer forever, right? Graduations are going on everywhere. Does anyone have anyone in their family who's graduating this year? We have a friend who's graduating. He graduates and then he's moving to Washington the very next day. So it's like graduation / move.
State.
Yeah, Washington State, not DC. So kudos for him. I was like, that's all good. Happy for you. Jealous. Because you guys get rain sometimes. The one and only time we went to Washington, because I was hoping for rain, the locals were saying, it's so unusual. It's not raining. It normally always rains. And I'm like, it just never figures. We just bring all the sun. We want the rain.
Hi, buddy. Hi, Debbie.
I need to be where it rains.
Susan, I'm kind of like you, but I don't like that much heat. She said I like the heat better than shoveling snow and freezing.
I'll take the snow. Steve tells me all the time.
I would take the rain, but not the snow.
I would take the snow. I would take it. And then everyone says you would like it until you lived with it all the time. And I'm like, no.
I'm not sure. I said her friend's graduating with her master's.
Wow. Congratulations to that. That's a huge accomplishment.
And now to pay off all the student debt.
Well, it depends. Sometimes people do a really good job at managing, and they're just able to do that ahead of time. Prepping.
Well, that's right. Audrey's up. She's at Tualatin and looking at rain for the next 6 days, of course. And it's snowing in the mountains.
Wow. That's Oregon, right?
Yeah, Tualatin. She's only, I think, half hour from Portland.
Okay.
She's south. I've been in the mall there several times.
What?
Tualatin Mall.
Oh, they have their own mall?
Yeah.
Okay. I know it's hard to believe that there's some moms that are like, man, it's so hard for us to believe that 18 years has already gone by and they're graduating, either going on to college, moving out of home. So for some parents, that's a huge shift. I remember when that happened to us, we were more along the lines of, yay, they're moving out, they're moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, back to red.
Our friends are moving to Lenora, which is right between Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier.
Yes,
Yeah.
you got it right. I had to think about that.
Yeah.
I always see it on like Google Maps, so I'm always like, what mountains are where? I don't know. We're praying and asking God what's next for us, because at this stage of the game, virtually all of our friends have moved away, far away, and all of our like our immediate family, our kids have all moved away. Not so much far away. One lives in Oklahoma and the other lives in Modesto, which is Northern California.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so now what's next? Okay, we did inside, so we've got red. First we have to do beige, not to the inside one yet. So outside, then inside. And the only reason I went 25 inches with this is with this particular deco mesh, it's a little on the thin side. The only thing that it's got to add some bulk is that jute, but even then it's like 1 every 5th column. So it's fairly thin. So I wanted to really thicken it up and give it some weight to this and not be light. I'll leave that there until we get our other one in. Push that over. So red, thinking it'll be red, red, and beige. Yes. I'm like, okay. Is anyone taking family vacations soon? Planning a family vacation? This is our last inside one. And we need to make sure that it's all at the bottom of the one that's sitting next to it. And then red.
Hi from Utah.
Welcome. What part of Utah?
Dawn said love the sign.
Yeah, I wanted something, I think, a little bit more, like, there's some bright royal blues in that. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more of the navy, but I think we're going to make it work. Because the whole background and the sides of it are all tan. So.
Sharon said not anytime soon, it's road vacation. Debbie Camacho said yes to Arizona in July with our 2 dogs.
Okay, July in Arizona?
Yeah.
That's like really hot.
Mm-hmm.
What part of Arizona? Unless you're going to like Flagstaff, where it's nice and cool.
Dogs go to Myrtle Beach on the 21st. Girls Week getaway. That's nice.
That is so nice. I want to do that. I want to go to Cape Cod. Just sit on the beach in a beach cottage.
Well, that's kind of cool. Gary and Terry Unsworth said we were going to Tennessee in August. Gatlinburg and I think Pigeon Forge. So
all the touristy stuff, right? I think those are all pretty much the major places to go if you're going to go in Tennessee. Okay, last one. Last one.
Oh, they're doing the Grand Canyon, Sedona, Kingman, Route 66.
Okay, we've done the Sedona thing. It's nice.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Very nice. Very hot.
It is very hot in July.
Yes, it is. Very hot in July.
March, April, a good time to go.
Yeah, anything that is not summer. Okay.
Yeah, we were thinking about doing a Kingman, like just a Grand Canyon, go up there for a day.
Yeah, Steve's been wanting to go up there. But I think we're going to hold off and do it when it's not quite so hot. Okay, there's our base. Big, thick, full. As you can see, there's a ton of mess. So this is normal for a burlap wreath that you're going to have shedding occur. But that's just because of the jute fiber. And the only thing that you can do to prevent that from continuing to happen is E6000 adhesive spray. You can spray the whole thing before you add the ribbons to it, or you can do the entire thing and then just focus on the outside. I always say, for me, I wait till I'm done, because if I was to spray it now and then go back in and play with everything, putting my ribbons in, putting my sign in and my bow, I'm still playing with it. It doesn't prevent it. It just kind of helps reduce how much of it sheds. So here are our ribbon and tail combinations. So we're doing this red, white, and tan 1.5 inches. All the 1.5 inches are cut to, what do you call it? 19-inch pieces. I didn't even dovetail these. That was kind of like spacing a little bit. Then we're doing a red, blue, or burgundy, navy, and tan gingham. Again, 19 inches. And then we're doing the Home of the Brave. This is the only glitter that we're really introducing. It's just to pop the word America. And then we're also pairing that up with a dark navy. So we're going to alternate either the Home of the Brave America ribbon or the solid navy. Both of these are cut to 14-inch pieces. Let's see. The navy blue is from Pinky Jub Designs on Etsy. The America Home of the Brave is from Craft Outlet. The striped, the red, white, and blue striped is from Personally Yours on, she has her own website. It's plresigns.com. And then the gingham is from Craft Outlet. So that's what we're doing. That's how we have that all set up. So we're gonna just alternate the colors around the outside. I think I'm gonna put the tan on our red, because if we put tan on tan, it's just kind of washing that out. So we'll put the blue on top of it to introduce the blue into our design.
Valerie's going to touring England next month.
Nice.
She's for England, Scotland, and Ireland.
Wow.
For
Look,
15 days.
that's a dream vacation. Definitely a dream vacation. So, folding them in half and then inserting them right at that center point. Couple twists on our pipe cleaners, and then we're just going to pull the ribbon to the outside. And I'm going to put the America Land of the Free on top of the blue because they sit so close to each other. You can pick which one do you want to be more predominant than the others. So I think that one. This is why I was fluffing the ribbon and trying to get it prepared for, hey, here's where the mesh needs to come. And I always get asked the question, how do you get your ribbons to lay flat when you've got them side by side with the other one? And it's just taking that planning and moving my deco mesh ahead of time, knowing that those are going to sit next to each other.
Susan, no, 2 of the ribbons are 2.5 inch. The navy ribbon, which was Pinky Jug, and then the Home of the Brave ribbon, which is from Craft Outlet.
Both cut to 14-inch pieces. And then the other ones are 1.5 inches, and those are cut to 19-inch pieces. So just taking that time and moving your mesh, because you know you're going to be occupying those 2 outside spaces. So sometimes you have to take your mesh and kind of bend it, fold it over so that you have an opening between them so that they sit and there's not mesh in between that our ribbon's fighting with.
Jenny, good question. That's something you can obviously go to their site. She asked, do any of your sign makers do any in Spanish? I'm sure they would.
Yes, I do. Yeah, almost every single sign maker is willing to do custom. You just have to, whoever you have that, you know, you might have a particular favorite vendor, just click the their contact us button and just ask, hey, I'm looking to do, you know, I need a sign written in Spanish. They're going to ask you the same questions all of us would. Do you have a particular design already in mind? And then all they're going to have to do is just change the, not the font, but the words and put them in Spanish. Because I'm going to be doing that soon because the friends of ours that are moving to Washington, they want a Washington wreath. Do you know that there's no such thing as a Washington wreath? So when I'm asking them, so what exactly do you envision with a Washington wreath? Oh, just use your best judgment. I'm like, okay, well, Washington for me may look different than Washington for you. Are you seeing more touristy things that like Washington's famous for, like the Space Needle? Or are you looking more like
evergreen wreath? Because
pines
and pine trees.
Yeah. And I'm like, are you wanting deco mesh? Are you thinking grapevine? Whatever you think would look the best. So I said, can you do me a favor and just go on Pinterest and just look up things, see what you like. Just look up pictures, you know, kind of get an idea of what you want, what colors you would like to have it done.
Apples, like apples or something.
Yeah. Or
something.
What you see when you look up Washington wreaths is like the Seattle or the Washington sports teams. So you see like the Seahawks or the Mariners, and I'm like, and they're not, you know, sports people. So I think we're going to end up doing something very mountain-y with pine. And I'm thinking maybe grapevine. This is kind of where I think we might go. But I'll keep you guys informed. We'll do it on a live so you can kind of see, hey, here's that idea of the Washington wreath. And it's for guys, so it kind of has to be a little on the manly side. Not hunting though, not like that. 2 more, and then we're going to come in and add our 1.5" to this. A whole bunch of different options you can do. If you were adding this, you could, I just put those 2 in the same thing. That was weird. Meant to put it to the next one. You could add raffia to this. You could add more of a burlap ribbon to it and just keep it very country looking. You could add pip berries, you know, just do it all natural, and then just pop the navies and the burgundies. Okay. Under. And then I'm always putting these under. See what I'm saying? I'm putting them on top of the blue. So there's the outside tails. And we're going to put, I'm looking at which ones do I want to put where. I think I want to do the gingham on the blue. Yeah, I think so. Let me dovetail these other 1.5" that I totally spaced. I cut them, and that's where I left it. So dovetail. They're just going to take your wired edges and fold them together. I usually do 2 at the same time. You're going to cut from the folded side right down. This one has 3 wires in it, down to the wired point, or the wired edge. It's hard keeping all the wires together so you get a clean cut on it. There we go. Do 2 more. So we have a grand total of 6 of each. Yeah, this way the red, white, and blue can look more symbolic for the flag. And then our bow, we're doing all 1.5". I'm choosing to keep the bow slimmer because our sign is so big, but it gives me the freedom of introducing a couple of different color palettes in it. Okay, all done. That's all finished. Now we're going to add what's called a half bow. So a half bow is just taking those 19" tails, fold them in half so you have your points together. You're going to go up about 2 inches from the top. You're going to gather them together. So you have about a 2-inch loop. That's going to go directly on top of our outside Home of the Brave America ribbon. We're going to give it 3 or 4 twists on our pipe cleaner and then go ahead and remove that. We are going to take the wired edge. That's going to go down, around, and behind that. You're going to open your loop. You have to be really careful on this ribbon because it has glued edges that are gluing all those different color strips together. So you always have to right side one. And there you go, it's like a 3D awareness ribbon. And we can still see the other ribbon right between them. So those are called half bows. So we're going to alternate the colors all the way around. And that'll dress the outside of our wreath for us. So it goes pretty quick. And it was right side one. Put those right in between. go over. There's always the right side and the wrong side. So if you're not careful when you go to fluff or straighten out your edges on the ribbon, the red, white, and tan, or the red, tan, and blue, you could separate them from each other, which has happened. You gotta take it out, cut a new piece. So you do that one real gingerly. Gingham on blue. What questions do you guys have? You have questions about anything, I'd be happy to answer it while we're going around. YouTube viewers, I know you guys are catching this on a replay, but even if you have questions, you can go ahead and just leave a comment below and I will answer your comments, even if you're watching this years from now. As long as I'm still here, I'll be answering your questions.
Oh, yeah, I got kicked out a minute ago. I got kicked out a minute ago.
Yeah, I've been getting kicked out a lot, which probably means Facebook's doing updates. Whenever you get kicked out a lot, they're doing an update, changing something.
Everybody said, love your creations, learned a lot from watching you.
Thanks, Beverly. What's your favorite design? Mine keeps changing all the time. Not all the time, but I have favorites.
Yeah, because the one you did behind you is your favorite one.
Yeah, the one that's behind me is my all-time favorite now. And they're not always grapevines. I was like trying to think, are they all trending towards grapevines? No, there's a couple I've done that are deco-mesh. Like the Christmas candle.
Yeah, that was pretty. The bunting really like the.
Yeah.
What's a grapevine with the bunting? That was simple to do too.
I didn't. Yeah, but I've already done it so many times.
Yeah.
It's like I'll repost it so you guys can see those. But the bunting that he's talking about is, it looks like an American flag, but it's not. It's just red, tan, and navy blue fabric designed to look like a flag, but you just wrap it around the grapevine. It's just a really nice, simple look. I'll have to make one. We'll make one for us.
Her center's changes right now. She's into the fold-over ruffles.
Okay.
And Susan B. This said they should join us on your private group for Wreath of the Month. We learn a lot.
Yeah. Well, the private group open enrollment is currently closed right now. It's going to be closed for the duration of the summer, just so we can get the private group members ready with their shops and everything else they need for the holiday season. That'll be coming up just after Labor Day. But if you just want something small and simple and you just kind of want to work side by side at your own pace, but like in a virtual class, you might want to think about our Wreath of the Month Club. That is currently open. It's available on my website at KatsCreationsNMore.com. It's $10 a month, and we just work on one design the whole month.
Jamie says, because of the way you instruct, I joined Facebook so I can watch live. Well, that's awesome, Jamie.
Yes.
Valerie said the peacock wreath is her favorite.
The peacock wreath. Oh, I like that one too. I have to agree. That one's really pretty. Probably have to make a couple more of those too. don't have any currently in my shop. And that's what's sad, is when things sell, we should be remaking them and relist them. But I don't. I just make one-of-a-kind creations so that if you purchase a wreath, you have the only one. Other people might come along and remake them, you know, following my design, but I don't replicate my wreaths.
You try super hard not to.
I don't. I can honestly say with 100% certainty, even people who say like, oh, I like this design, I want one just like this, I might just change up the design and put different ribbon, change the order of how things are going. So.
Audrey, what about your mermaids?
My mermaids?
Yeah, I mean, she'll use different ribbon, or she might use a different.
That's true. We have to do a new mermaid one. I'm waiting for some signs to come in that I've ordered from a new sign place. So I found some that I really, really like. And then we have some really nice ones that are coming for the fall. And that's the sad thing, right? You make it and you're like, and that one's gone.
Jared's, I don't know the sign you're using now.
Yeah, I like that one. I was like, what sign was that? I was looking, I had one that just has welcome on it and it's got a barn star. That was the one I was looking for. But I think I used it last year. So that's why I got to get down to the wholesaler, because they have things that you can't buy online. And so that gives you some of that exclusivity.
Tracy said the same thing. That's what she likes to do. All her wreaths are one of a kind, no two of the same.
Yep. Never two of the same. Because then it's boring. Like, the only time I've done something where it's a big, huge, repetitive thing is I did a design for a family who wanted everything done in their house, all matching on the doors, all garlands, centerpieces, fireplace mantles. So it was a lot of repetition. So yeah, you could do it in stages, but I love being able to create a truly unique piece. So sometimes I have to go back and look at my designs to make sure I'm not replicating something I may have done in the past.
Linda says, I'm wanting to do a fall grapevine. I'll think about it for a couple months.
Fall? There's so many nice things you can do. You can do one with apples, or you can do one with pumpkins, like gourds. Think of the things you would collect outside in the fall, and then start looking for things like fall leaves and your ribbon. You know, think, do you want to put a sign on it or no sign?
That's what I learned first with the grapevines.
Yeah. Well, because we weren't, like when I was doing wreaths, it was all evergreens and grapevines. I hadn't ever experimented with the deco mesh. So for me, that was all new, but it just opened up so much of a variety. So I'm just going around and making sure my ribbons are all like, not laying flat, but that they have a slight arch to them. It just makes them look like they have movement. And then we will make our bow, and then we'll attach our sign. This one's not having any embellishments, but you could embellish it with like raffia, little pieces of raffia. Like I said, some pit berries. I do have pit berries, but I won't put them on this one. Let's get this one. Feels like it's in the hole. This one feels like it's in a hole. Sometimes they do. Okay, so that one's all set. Doing the bow. So let's set this way over there. Okay, ribbon for the bow. So we have our red, white, red, tan, and navy, and we have our gingham. We're going to introduce in this design, because it kind of goes with the sign, the borders around the edge of the sign, the burgundy and tan. We're gonna do another burgundy and tan with I guess it's like chain link beige stitching on the outside. We're also going to incorporate some navy Swiss dot to break that up and introduce more blue. And then we have tan with red stars, again, tying our sign in. So where did the additional ribbon come from? Well, the tan with the stars is from Craft Outlet. We know where this one came from, but it's personally yours. Same with the navy with white Swiss dot is personally yours. Craft Outlet, and Joann's. This was Joann's at Christmas in 2020. So, figuring out the order of everything. Definitely want to break some of this up. So I'm thinking I'm gonna do it like this. That's the order all my ribbons are gonna go in. This will be on the top. So, all 1.5 inches. We're using the Bow Dabra, and we're gonna do the same bow formula or recipe that I always use. So we're gonna dovetail the edge, give it a nice fresh cut. This one's gonna be 10 inches. So right at 10, you're gonna gather and twist. Place it inside your Bow Dabra. And then we want these to be 5.5 inches. So we're not quite there. There we are. So it's basically 2.5 stripes. I think right about there. No. Same thing what I did last time. There we go. And then back out 10 inches. So you're gonna see that this one is not gonna be as full because we're not having the 2.5 inch at the bottom. So it's gonna give it, based on the size of the sign, I think it'll make it more size appropriate. Then we're gonna go our Swiss dot, dovetail again, and then it's going to be 9.5 inches for the tail length and 5 inches for the bow. So up and around 5 inches. I find that if you want an ease at making a good bow, just keep your measurements as precise as you can. So just practice. And then one day it'll just click for you. And then from that point on, you'll never struggle to make another bow. Get into really good routines. You know, like always dovetailing as you're using them. Okay, we're going tan. This one's going to be 9 inches long for the tail length, and then 4.5 inches for, what is this? I went 10. This one's 9 inches for the tail length, 4.5 inches for the loop length. So I always bring it back to the 10 and then stretch everything out and make sure it's right where it needs to be. Right there. And then out. 9. Nice cut on our ribbon. And you don't have to do the little V cut, the little dovetail, ducktail, fishtail. You can just do an angle. I just think it looks nicer if you have a cut on it. looking to see if I had a pin already out, and I don't. Okay. This one is going to be, I had to think about that, 8.5 inches is the tail length, and we're doing a 4.5 inch loop as well. So same as the one right below it. So just put your fingers in and then pull. That way you know they're the exact same. And then back out 8.5. Okay. This is my favorite ribbon from Joann's because it's super soft cotton. So that always makes for a really good choice. And this one is going to be 8 inches for the tail length and a 4-inch loop. So 8, twist, and 4 inches, which is perfect right there. A little too long. Back out to 8. That one's just about done. It is done.
It is now.
It is now. There's not going to be anything that's going to go back on that roll. Which now frees up a pin for the other one. Now it can't come undone. Last one, this is 7.5 inches for the tail length and 3.5 inches for the loop.
Any questions?
Anyone have any questions? Actually don't have this one listed on my website yet.
Oh, you don't?
Nope. Normally I do. I was gardening right up until like 15 minutes before. Trying to get stuff together so you don't have to do it on the weekend. Last one. Have our pipe cleaner ready. Okay. Pipe cleaner, we're gonna go beige. So just kind of get that ready in a loop, like a little U. Pick everything up and just compress it. And then you're gonna drop your pipe cleaner right into the center. You're gonna hold it right at the base of that stack and just twist the stack. So much easier, especially if you have hand strength issues as we get older. We kind of lose the ability to do that. And then
What are the stars for this month? I've forgotten. I don't think we.
What did we do?
Huh?
How are we doing? We talked about that. We talked about it when we were sitting in the concert. I think we're doing something in regards to human trafficking or something like that. So I've got to get the actual organization to combat human trafficking. So let me make sure that I put that on the thing for Sunday. So stars. Right next to the comment is a little star. So we use the stars for fundraising. And so for the month of May, we're using it to combat childhood, women, sex trafficking. So we just gotta find the name of the organization, the link, so we can share that. So, fluffing. Tail in a loop. We start from the bottom and work our way up to the top. So, and then on the opposite side, you're going to go complete opposite. So we're gonna go our loop here and our tail here. This way tails go directly opposite, loops go directly opposite. And then you're just gonna keep bringing down the next. So we have loop and tail. Go over to the other side, and we're gonna pull tail out, and then our loop. And so what it does is as we go down, it's just splitting the ribbon so that you don't have things on the same side. So here's that. Go over to the other side, alternate, just like this. And it's entirely up to you. You can change the order of what you may want going where. If you do just whatever you do on one side, make sure you do it on the opposite side. And then here, we're doing blue. So again, you want to be careful you're not pulling these, because had you pulled them, it's just going to pull the ribbon apart at the glue point. So I'm just grabbing the whole ribbon and pulling that around. Here's our last one. Just like that. Everything is all situated, it's all spread out, it's all organized. And you can vary if you want to add some tails into the inside. It's entirely up to you. And now what you're going to do is you're going to pick up your two insides and you're just going to put your hands in them to give them some life. Do the same on the other side. Just like this. Okay, we're going to grab the next two. And you can just kind of figure out, oh, do I want the red in between the other two? And the stars off to the side. It's up to you. You decide. So here, have that there. I'm going to move my tails to the side. This comes up in between those two. And then I'm going to have my Swiss dot between those two.
Thank you, Joan. She sent 200 stars.
Thanks so much, Joan. I appreciate that.
Susan says, I think this is where I mess up, is I try to get all the layers alternating and tail going the opposite direction. Gotta practice more.
What do you mean? See,
So your bows sides are completely opposite each other and your tail sides are completely opposite each other.
Well, look, mine are.
Yeah.
So I have all my loops here, but there are some people who like to integrate, you know, maybe some smaller tails in here, and that's totally within your right as a creator to decide what do you like, where, and then to put that movement back into our tails again, we're just going to run our fingers through them all the way down through all our ribbon. That way when we lay it on our wreath, it should follow the pattern all the way down. So just right between your fingers. That's all it takes. You know, you might want to pull something over here. You might want to take your blue and put your tails over here. It's entirely up to you. You can decide. You might not like, you know, tails all on one side. I generally will do it if the sign has a lot of words. So I have like, tails are going to take up a lot of space. Mm-hmm. But I'm kind of liking blending the tail in over here.
Rita says she's doing the same thing. She gets that far, but then can't get them to look right. Rita said, I can never do your bows good. It's always hit and miss.
But you should be getting more hits now than misses, I'm guessing. So just play. you know, just play with them. As you saw, I kind of focus more on the loops and the placement. I'm like, okay, I want this between these two. I want this between these two. I want, you know, the red between that. So I have to pull my red up between these. So when I go and lift it up.
Linda, yeah, she said her bows are already beautiful.
There you go. There's your bow. It's all done.
Yep.
But see, I've been doing bows now. These kind of bows, this is on my 5th year. So it's just like super easy. And I'm trying to break it down and remember exactly like how I learned it. And it was just practice. You know, separate first. Decide the layout of your colors.
Right.
And then, you know, move your tails where you want it to be. And you'll probably still readjust it even when you get it on the wreath. So,
Thank you, Debbie. She's had 310 stars.
Thanks so much,
And
Debbie.
she said it's pretty. Rita said I ended up taking mine apart last night and going to try again.
Taking apart your bow? I'm trying to think. Okay, so I'm looking at my sign, trying to figure out where I want what where. So you can still do this over here. It's like making a bouquet. A bow bouquet.
Night, Tracy. Have a good weekend.
Pulling that one. Did I grab the wrong side? No. Okay. See how sometimes the loops wind up where they're not supposed to be?
Should have said yes to bow.
The bow. Okay. So, pulling that over, so tails are over there, and looking at it from here in my hand. And I want my tails to frame the sign. So let me show you what it looks like when I get it all on there. And this is kind of how it's gonna go. Okay, I have it like that. I had it slightly angled. So I'm going to attempt to raise it so you can kind of see it. That's going to be how it's going to be. So there's that. I'm going to attach my sign using 1.5 millimeter beadsmith metal hole punch pliers. They're just like a hole punch for metal. And it punches holes in my sign. So I'm going to use the floral wire because we're doing burlap jute, which is just can be a nightmare trying to get wire or pipe cleaners because it gets stuck on those little fibers, the little hairs. So I'm using 22 gauge floral wire. Gonna pop that in the hole. Who's calling? Thought somebody was. Okay, and so I build my bows from the back, or attach my signs from the back, which means I'm taking my floral wire and building it over the hole in the back. Not like, let me add this one. I'm not doing it here, because then your wire is here instead of being behind the sign. So always behind, that way you don't see it. So I just twist it about 5 times to give it a nice little elevated base. And then we're going to attach this. And I'm going further on the side. So I wanted a slight tilt on the right hand side, tilted more to the left. So I'm just going to lift these up. I'm going to attempt to hit my frame, and I got my my center section, so that makes it easy. So I'm gonna push this down ever so slightly to figure out at what level do I want to end my sign. just like that. This one's going to be kind of up. So I need to pull some of my mesh out of the ends so this can sit on the inside, not the outside. So right about there. There we go. So I'm just pulling these out of the way so it could lay kind of nestled in there. It always looks nicer when it does that. And then we're gonna readjust any of the ones on the outside. I might have smashed trying to put my sign in. That one's there. And then we want to just lightly feather our edge, which means just pull your deco mesh around your sign just so that you have a feathered edge to it. It just looks nicer that way.
Listen, I've discovered using a large-eyed needle helps with pipe cleaners.
Yes, you can definitely do that. Okay, bow. Let's find pipe cleaners. Okay. I had it. There it goes. I have to push these up and around. Trying to get my there we go. Okay. I wanted it slightly up and over. So we're still working with the pipe cleaner anyway. And we got it. So what I do is pull, but hold the center so you don't pull the whole thing all the way down. And then now you can readjust all your loops again. Up, over. And then give them some life. Okay, we're all set. Ready to see it all. Let me just pull my tails down on this side. Trying to make sure the ones I want to see are more predominant. Okay, you guys ready to see? I'm going to go ahead and put it on the door so you can see what this looks like.
There's a zoom in finding sunflowers that are scarce.
Even at Hobby Lobby? Hobby Lobby. Try Amazon, Debbie. Okay. I think we're going to have supply issues all the way around.
Yeah.
I think you're going to start running into, I can't find this, or I can't find that. So, there is all of our tips. So, picture tip, make sure all of your ribbons are straight. All the tails are straight. Nothing's folded, nothing's crinkled. Take the time to make that picture look amazing.
Give it lots of likes and loves.
And there you have it. Super simple. Doesn't have to be an over complicated design, just something simple. Feels more country. So if you're struggling between how do I know what colors need to be on an Americana versus a traditional, traditional is going to be your solid red, white, blues, the brights. And then the country or the Americana look is going to be tan instead of white. It's going to go with a burgundy over a true bright red, and then yielding more to a darker navy rather than a royal blue. So if you can keep those in mind when you're thinking your design through or thinking your sign through, just kind of keep those the same. It's really hard to try to not put white into a country and instead you're using the tan, but that's usually the big difference. All right. Don't forget, come join me on Sunday. I don't know what I'm making. It's in my book, but come join me Sunday at 6. We go a little bit later on Sunday, so 6 Pacific, which is 8 Central and 9 Eastern time. So I hope you guys will join me then. Other than that, have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys on Sunday. Good night, everyone. Have a great weekend.